Buongiorno a tutti. Dobar dan. So, good morning. Avete dormito bene? Ah. Okay. So this day it's more dedicated to the credit mobility and the good practices of the International Relation Office, including the mobility. And yesterday some of you already asked me if this today will be the time for presenting this, and I said yes, okay. And we just had a small talk with Dorsaf, so she will somehow included all these good practices in the workshop later on. And I will also try to be short, so we have to finish this morning part at 12 o'clock, because then is coming the general director of the Pegaso multi-university, no? Okay. So I would like to speak a little bit of international relation offices, credit mobility, and recognition of formal and non-formal learning in general. And then I will just say a few words about the quite, let's say, new trends in micro-credential, even if this is somehow an old issue from the Lisbon Declaration on. It was very exposed in the last year in the European Commission. Let's say, we spoke yesterday a little bit of International Relation Office and credit mobility. I would not repeat the thing that Aleš already told, but somehow usually these are two offices at the universities. At the beginning it could be one, but usually there are two offices but closely together. Why closely together? Because both, let's say, activities are based on the international network. And the international network is coming out of the project and out of different bilateral agreements for the mobilities. And somehow mobilities, it's one of the activities that was exposed also in the European or in this, let's say, external windows of one of the first activities of that European Commission supported. In the last year, this K107 is very important because it allows the mobility from Europe to the out European countries. And there are different lots. So the region Mediterranean, it's a separate lot for K107. The role of the International Relation Office is to support the mobilities also, no? And when we are talking about the mobilities, is the mobilities that are outgoing students, so the students that are going out of your countries, and the students that are coming in at your university. And the same issue is with the staff. So we have the staff that are outgoing and the staff that are incoming. Sometimes, why it's important that the two, let's say, offices or activities are in a close working environment. For example, if I'm coming to one university, for example in Tunis, okay, for the teaching for the project, okay, for the project, I'm there. And I can have some meeting with the staff. I can be also asked to go in the class, don't know, to explain something from my topic or maybe something that is connected with the intercultural issues. For example, how the people live in Slovenia or something like that, no? So you can combine these activities always, no? Because you already have people there. And Then what is formally requested by the international office is it about supporting the academic process of the mobility. When I said supporting the academic process of the mobility, this means that the students that are going to the study mobility has to have the learning agreement before going there, and when they are coming back, they have to be, you have to recognize the credits and the topic. And so we are coming now to the issue of the recognition. So these are the types, okay, I can say a few words. So I already mentioned K1 of 7, the exchange of the students and exchange of the staff mobility. This mobility has to be initiated by the European side. So you can't initiate this mobility. So you have to be contacted with one of the European university. They have to prepare the project. It is a simple project, and the deadlines are usually in February, as all K1 mobility, K1 project activities. The project is quite, the description of the project, it's quite simple, but it is based, let's say, of some history of the relations with these institutions. For example, you can ask, don't know, Pegaso Naples, so online university, if they are willing to sign to prepare the project together with you for the mobility to come in Italy. And it's always two-side mobility. So you have to mention how many staff are going from, I don't know, for example, Jordan, okay? So Jordan, Philadelphia, for example, university to Pegaso University. Pegaso has to submit the project proposal, and there is stated 3 staff from Philadelphia University is coming to Pegaso. Pegaso has to state 2 staff from the Pegaso will go to Jordan Philadelphia University, plus 2 students are going from Philadelphia University to Pegaso, and 2 students are going from Pegaso to Philadelphia. When the project is submitted, it has to be approved. When the project is approved, the hosting country, so the European country, university here in Europe can't be changed. So it's always Pegaso Naples who signed the agreement, and they received the budget. But if, for example, the Philadelphia University is not able to send, to fulfill the statement that was done, how many mobilities are, so Pegaso can ask also another university from Jordan for exchange. For example, Luminous Technical, that we have the relationship, she have to justify this and said, okay, instead of 2 from Philadelphia, 1 is coming from Philadelphia and 1 is coming from Luminous Technical University. Okay, so this can be exchanged. Also, you can have more students, you can put some of the grant to the students, but you can't put the grant from the students on the staff. Okay? You can also have the exchange of incoming and outgoing. So, for example, that if Pegaso it's not in the capacity to send 2 as promised to Jordan, so they can give 1 more grant that the Jordans are coming in Italy. Okay? So inside the project, some changes are eligible, not all. But the project has to be initiated and submitted by European institution. So this is important. The project you have to prepare together with the submission. The project, because in the project, even if it's simple project, it has to have some description of the activities and has to be justified with the previous activities, not exchanges. For example, you were together in this project, Metuyah, and this is somehow a history of your cooperation. Now Pegaso knows your institution, you know Pegaso, and for example, you can state in the project that you started already during the project, let's say some activities for cooperation. For example, supporting your conference because you are doing the conferences. You can state that you would like to have the joint articles, some joint research. It's not a big project, it's not like Metuyah, but you have, because in the mobility grants, you are not paid as a staff. Okay? In the big project, you have the money for the staff. In this mobility project, the grant is covering the mobility. It's unit cost for travel and for cost of stay. Okay? It's a little bit higher than, let's say, the unit cost in the capacity building, but it's not the staff. It's not the working days. But somehow it is expected that you invest some of your working days in this, because you are doing something good for your career. And it was explained very well by Murcia University Dalia yesterday, no, that the financial reason is not the only one that is forcing you in the projects. Okay? It is good that you have the financial effects also for covering the costs, but the development of the university for the purpose of reaccreditation, the development of the staff, of the researchers, this is the most important. And to give to the students the opportunity to meet the international staff and the international students. So the values, your values of your university, your personal values has to be the motivator to engage in these projects. Okay? Let's say the good projects for the universities that are covering the staff are the Horizon project, are really research-based projects. Also the capacity building project are not the projects that are covering all the activities full. Because if you really want to achieve all the results in the capacity building project, you have to invest your own time also in the projects, okay? Because it's paid by the unit cost, which is somehow, in the new application, it's a little bit different. It is based on the real cost, but in the old application, it is not a big amount, and is paying, for example, I would say in Slovenia, a day that is paid in Slovenia as a unit cost is half of the real salary of the day of the professor. In Morocco, we talk about that because in Morocco we have, for example, the state and the private university, no? In the state university, there is covering 10% of the cost of the staff day. It is 10% as his salary. So it is, but it is some contribution of the commission. But you have to fulfill all the tasks that you promised. So these K1 of 7 are good small project to start, okay? Really, and if you, if at some university you don't have still the bilateral for K107, promise me now, okay, that this will be the project that you are going to submit, not you are going to submit, but you are going to be a partner with one European, one of us, okay, let's say, on another one, to be submitted in February, okay? And this, we can also say that it is somehow a sustainability of our project, of the Med2Yach project, because you learn something. It's okay? Okay. So it's really something that could be done. It's a small, but another thing, pay attention, no? You can't have a lot of this project in the same country, okay? So usually you are in line with one university in Italy, okay, with one in Slovenia. But when you are already in Slovenia, you can visit it also other universities, no? Here you have, and you will when you will have the opportunity to listen to the general director, for example, because they have 3 universities, 3 higher institutions. So this is Pegaso Naples. Then they have the Mercatorum in Rome, and they have the Pegaso International in Malta. So, and you can discuss this, let's say, later in the afternoon also, how to extend your partnership. And here you have, in Slovenia, you have EMUNI to sign, okay? I can help if EMUNI is full with the K107, for example, with some of the countries. Maybe I can help with another affiliation, which is also in Slovenia. We can sign the K107, but then you can visit it also EMUNI, you know? So this is very flexible when you are already in the country. And you have the Montpellier from France, and you have Murcia from Spain. No, so these are the higher institutions in this network, and if they are interesting, maybe you can negotiate to sign the K107, no? And always when you send the student, you have to be sure that there is a credit mobility. So the student gain from this mobility not just the intercultural experience, but also the credits, and that these credits are recognized. And you said that the International Relation Office has to take care of these mobilities. So the technical part and also the credit mobility. And because we are talking about the credit mobility, the person in charge somehow for the International Relation Office has to be in very close contact, or the head maybe has to be the academic, for example, vice dean or vice president for the study affairs, not for the research. When we're talking about the projects, it's important the vice president for the research. When we are talking about the credit mobility, it has to be in charge for the study programs, because there are the credits. Has to know the credits. Also, when you have the mobility, you have to talk with the person in charge for the study programs and ask this person which programs are going on, which courses are we delivering in these periods. Can this professor be a guest lecturer in this course or in that course? No, it can be and this, it's always that is negotiated in the last 2 months. So this is not something that it has to be stated as a fix in the project proposal. In the project proposal, just very broad statement that you have an idea who can come and where to be included. Because the people by the name can change. Just the numbers are important. Yes, please, Anna. Anna, here.
Proposal. You are not connecting to the name, as Nada said. You need to explain the possible cooperation between universities and what will bring. This is the main impact and what can bring, you know. And for you, it's not any additional money you're not receiving because you are coming to training. You are coming to increase your capacity. So this is the point. And even in the proposal, you need to explain why, what will your university take from this, this cooperation. And you as an individual are on the end of this story.
Because Anna mentioned now the budget. All the budget is going to European partner, okay? But in this budget, they have the money to cover, to incoming from your institution, all your costs. So the travel, the stay cost, and also the visa and so on, because it is enough money. It is enough money. You have to be economically, okay? You can't have five-star hotel, you can't have the business class, but if you are really have this economical approach for traveling, it is enough money to cover your study visit, okay? And this is paid by the budget of European partner, okay? For example, now Dorset has an experience because she is coming to the boot camp. We had one mobility left not at the Mooney, in my other institution, and she's coming to the boot camp, and she will be, all the cost of her stay cost and flights will be covered by this grant. And because for Anna at Emuni, they have one grant for Emuni, for Morocco, I think, no? They are now talking that maybe Rashid is coming from Morocco, and I have another grant for Lebanon. I can't change for another country. Okay, this is, so the grant is for Lebanon. I can change the institution in Lebanon, but I can't change the country.
Because when you are applying for this project, all countries and all institutions where you want to cooperate. For example, Emuni applied 2019 and we requested 35 mobilities. We received 32 of them, 3 that we applied for Jordan. We didn't receive at all country Jordan in the project. They actually reject the cooperation with Jordan for Emuni, you know. But why? Because also Emuni is applying with universities that are part of our network, General Assembly. And if they are going evaluators and checking and see and said, okay, Alex Wayne is all the time involved in any activities of Emuni or Heliopolis University. It's easy to explain, to find the connection, you know. Jordan, the university that we are applying that time wasn't active in our activities. And it's very visible from our webpage for national agencies checking that. So this is the point. And so now, for example, we can add additional university from Morocco, but we cannot add additional country. We cannot change. So we need to wait for February and apply again and put other countries in this proposal. DORSA already have experience with Emuni, with virtual mobility. we organized a few months ago, no, 1 year ago.
It was last summer.
Yeah, last summer. It was the first time virtual mobility. It was even for us strange how to organize everything virtually, because you have at least 4 to 5 hours per day, you know. But we realized it's not possible that no one will sit 4 to 5 hours in front of computer and I don't know do what. But at the end, I think it was very, yeah, because we share and different stuff was changing and speaking resources every day on different subjects. But in virtual mobility, you are not receiving any grant. You're just, because this is the point, you're just receiving some knowledge.
But important was, and it was also, let's say we received some notes from the Commission, no? Because of the COVID, was not possible to realize the mobilities, no? The face-to-face mobilities. And they opened this possibility to realize the virtual mobilities. And they, somehow it was not stated very openly, but in the, let's say, in between the lines, you can read, no? Try to organize the virtual mobility and to show the capacity that you can do also the virtual mobility, because you are not, if you are not going to realize any mobilities, so you will be penalized next year in the selection of the new mobilities, okay? Because they are counting. So even if they didn't give us the grant for the mobility, they said the mobility was realized, okay? Was done. So this was somehow the point behind, no? But going to the, now, you see, here.
We have many mobility projects, and I didn't know the possibility to change university in the same, because we have problem with Zambia and Benin project mobility. And this had to be provided in the proposal, the changes we...
No. The change is later on. Let's say you just
Natural.
note to we send a note to your national agency, and you have to justify why this is not.
I have to justify.
You have to justify.
Yes.
It is an annex. It is like a new agreement. You are adding the new university. It's a one document.
But it's a quite simple procedure.
Yeah.
Quite simple, but you have to put some reasons.
It is like like in proposal part.
Yeah.
It is the same.
Okay. Let's say about the role of the International Relation Office here in our project is also very much connected with the intercultural activities. And I will not speak about that now a lot, because we already did some of, and also Dorcef will do this later on, but we have in the project this student friends tea houses, okay, which are the intercultural corners, and we are going to talk about this also in the student boot camp. So in the last half of the year of the project, International Relation Office are supposed at your universities also to support the activities for the international students, international staff, which has the intercultural dimension, okay? And this is something that we can talk also in France, in Spain, on the next study visits. If I said the credit mobility in the term of the mobility, which is for us now the most important issue, it is that the student who is going out of your university to the mobility, you have to sign with him or her the learning agreement before the mobility. So this is the document that is signed with the home and host higher education institution, and in this agreement it is stated which courses the students will do at the host university and how much credits he or she will get, and how many months the students will be at the mobility. If we are talking about the study mobility, there is another type of mobility which is also the traineeship, internship mobility. When the student is abroad, as International Relation Office, you has to be all the time in the contact with the students and also with the international office of the host institution, because sometimes the courses could also change, and this is not the problem, okay? Just make an agreement that the courses change. Maybe some courses are not delivered, or maybe are not delivered in the English language or in French, as it was, let's say, maybe agreed before. So you have to be very flexible, because it is not the only aim, it's not to get all the credits, but it's also this intercultural experience and make sure that the students who is going to the host institution has the contact also with the other students from other countries. And usually they make some clubs of the international students. When the students finish the mobility, receive the transcript of records. This is somehow the list of the courses that he or she done. The course is the title, also a short explanation of the course. Sometimes they add the whole syllabus, how much contact hours were, who was the teacher, and also how many credits and the grade that he received. It's always according to the higher education standards and regulation of the host institution. So if you're sending the students in Europe, they will bring the ECTS. So if you don't have the ECTS at your institution, you have to somehow transfer by your own formula, let's say, that is recognized at your university, to your credits, okay? But the student has to be recognized for the efforts, for the study that he did in another country, in another higher education institution. So, because it is, these courses are recognized in the original study program that he or she is doing at your university, he or she has to be not withdrawn, okay, or it's not need to do all the courses in your program, okay? Okay, yes, not all the courses in your program. And it's academic recognition, okay? It's academic. Here I always say, don't count hour by hour, okay? Don't count always credit by credits. If the students did, for example, if you have one course of 5 credits, for example, and you have one course of 7 credits, and the students did similar courses, both of 6 credits, okay? So 12 on one side, 12 on the other side. Please recognize this, okay? Don't go in the small details.
What we actually have at our university for the credit mobility is that we have So in every faculty, we have a file that contains the name of the courses and how many ECTS it transfers to, and the learning objectives of each course. So what we do when a student asks to transfer or to go on a mobility, we ask the other university to send us the courses that the student will enroll in order to compare them with what we give, and in order to compare their learning objectives with ours to see if they are close, to make sure that the credits will be transferred. And in case any course is not transferred, we ask the student to choose another one before he or she goes to their mobility in order to ensure this credit transfer. And we have an academic committee in each faculty and a transfer committee in each faculty that studies these files before the student travels or enrolls in the other institution, just to make sure that they are not losing a semester or they are not losing an academic year. So this is actually what we do in our university. I don't know if this might help you or help the advisors committee at your universities as well. Thank you.
Thank you. She explained very well this. Now, maybe I missed here to put, so in the first line, also put plus student, okay? Because what is important, this is somehow the negotiation process that the home institution is doing on one side with the students that would like to go to the mobility, and on the other side with the institution that will host the student. So the home institution is in between. Anitza put the student here also, add the student later on. So, okay, the student. And from the financial part, okay, from the financial part, you receive the, if we are talking about the mobility in K107, the European institution received the budget for the students. And it is again giving the budget for the students. The budget for the students is always less than the budget for the academic staff, and also it is supposed that the students are going to the mobility for the longer period. And somehow in the K107, they stimulate more the study mobility for the master and for the PhD students, not for the bachelor students. And also you can have also, especially for the master, and here also the bachelor students, you can have the internship. And for example, in Celje, we have, in Slovenia, we have one very good experience with the Thailand, and we have the student mobility at the master level for internship, for 2 months of internship, okay? So this is the core, this is the academic core of the mobility for the students. Okay, what they gain has to be recognized. I will somehow stop here, okay? But I will just say a few words about the recognition itself. I will enlarge a little bit. You see, this is about the recognition. The recognition means that you have to have the commission at your university for the recognition. And it's not just the recognition that when the student is going abroad. The recognition is the process where the university can recognize the knowledge and the skills of the candidate, of the students, which was gained in different occasions, either in the formal or informal learning. So when you have the students that receive some of the knowledge as lifelong learning, for example, and he or she would like to enroll in your study program, you can recognize this knowledge according to the standard of the university, looking at the learning outcomes and so on, and you can recognize some of the courses. And you see here on the right, on your right side, so you can say, you see here is the structure of the, let's say, 5-year program, no? 3 years bachelor, 2 years master, no? You can say, okay, from the knowledge that you already have, either from formal education where you drop out, or in lifelong learning education, we can recognize you some of the courses. Okay? And if we recognize as a university some of the courses, so it's not need that you do these courses at my university, but at the end you will receive the degree, our degree, even if you did only, for example, half of the courses. This recognition, it's a tough work, really a tough work, and France did really the big steps at the beginning of 2000, and in 2005 this movement somehow goes through all the European countries, but not in Slovenia. We didn't done the big steps, okay? We did just some formal learning from, let's say, if the students drop out from one university and then enroll in another one, okay, so it was formal, so we recognized. Non-formal and informal education is very rarely recognized. So lifelong learning is usually not recognized. But in the last year, European Commission started, and I will put you the whole presentation in the e-platform about micro-credential. If you put and now I don't know, Elodie, are you following now the activities of the Ministry of Education and Labor Market during the France presidency? No. So, because it was, Slovenia has the presidency until the December, and it was said at that time that during the period of the French presidency, it will be signed the formal recommendation document for all higher education institutions in Europe about this process of micro-credential. Micro-credential is the unit, small unit, with the ECTS, let's say 10, 20, 30 ECTS, which should be done only by the higher education institution, following all the standards of the quality assurance, okay? And, for example, if the person go to this micro-credential, because the labor market needs this, okay? For example, nowadays, green economy, ECTS, these are the hot topics, maybe, that the students 10 years ago at the bachelor level didn't study it, okay? You can offer the micro-credential, then the students receive the document that he did this topic, and he's assigned, let's say, 10, 20 ECTS. But if these students is going then to go to the master level at your university, and he did this micro-credential with 20 ECTS, you are somehow obliged to acknowledge these credits, to recognize them. Okay? So this is so it is a recognition of the lifelong learning on the level of the higher education. And this so formalized, it was started from last June on. And I will put on the IT platform the whole document from the European Commission. But we are expecting this new regulation. And Elodie, if you will have some, I didn't even check, because at that time was still the negotiation which ministry or which DG will be responsible for this. Either the DG for the higher education or the DG for the labor market. Because really it is overlapping, you know. But what is sure is that has to be developed and implemented by the higher education institution and has to be then recognized. And the quality assurance standard has to be the same for as for the degree study programs. Okay? For those who are more interested in the, let's say, academic side of the higher education. So with this, here you have some additional, let's say, literature, and that is all from my side. Elodie.
Yeah, can you give an idea of how you recognize the mobility of staff? Because you also provide to talk about it in the applications. Or training staff mobilities or teaching staff mobilities, because it's kind of hard to find ideas of how to recognize them.
Okay. After every staff mobility, you receive a questionnaire from the European Commission, okay? And one of the questions there is also how the mobility or your efforts was recognized by your home institution, okay? And you have statements like financial compensation, promotion, and so on. I always put one statement, it's my professional career development. So I'm, let's say, with the mobility, I'm investing in myself. And it is, let's say, it is not recognized, formally it is not recognized, at my university formally it's not recognized. But at some university, let's say, if you have, I don't know, every 3 years, if you have the promotion system, okay, maybe this could be one of the elements of the promotion. So you can add this mobility certificate, the mobility certificate in your folder, okay, when you are doing this evaluation process of your career development, no? But it depends from the university, no? Some of the university really fall